Good morning, everyone. Thought it was time for a quick video update, as I've not done one for a while. Sunday morning, God knows what the date is, must be about the 5th of September, I'm guessing. Sounds about right, 5th. Down on the allotment, we've had a little bit of rain this morning, which, I was going to use this beast this morning and cut some grass, because as you can see, it's getting fairly scraggly along the edges of the paths. Still going to do that, it's not that bad. I might leave it for a few more minutes just to dry out a bit, but I thought while I was doing that I'd give a quick tour. Haven't done that for a while, certainly not as a video post, so probably not a lot different to the last time. If anything, probably less crops, but we'll show you around and you can judge for yourselves. Start with the shed. As you can see, flask in there, essential. Shed is a right mess at the moment, I'm afraid. It needs a good clean out. Barely room. In fact, there isn't room to swing a cat in there. Not that I've tried, but I'm fairly certain I wouldn't be able to. But the essentials are there. My deck chair hiding down behind the boarding that I put up in the window, and my flask. So, everything that I need, including my hat. Bringing it outside, runner beans. Had real problems getting any runner beans to germinate this year, so consequently haven't ended up with that many plants, but overall that's worked out quite well, because it's meant we've had just enough to eat and not too much, so timing and number of plants quite well. I did pick these yesterday, but there's a few on there that could be picked again today, so I'll probably have a look later. A few marigolds, a bit of colour, and also to put off some of the beasts and bugs. Beasts, that's what bugs and beasts are, beasts. Anyway, this was the plot that you probably remember had the onions on. Onions a complete failure. I put that down to basically to the really hard winter we had. So this is going to be potato plot next year, except for this little bit here which has got Swedes in, so I don't want to put root crops one next to the other. Netted to keep the pigeons off, basically. They will strip the leaves very, very quickly if I let them. But I need to take the netting off at some point and do a bit of weeding, because I noticed there's a dandelion and some other bits and pieces in there. Apparently the best thing for Swede to make them grow big and strong is chicken manure, which I've been putting pelleted chicken manure in when I've been weeding, and just mixing that in around the roots seems to be doing quite well, actually. Moving on, celeriac doesn't seem to be doing very much. I'm convinced it might not actually be celeriac, it might be celery. They're the same family. They were plants given to me by a next door neighbour. In fact, this next door neighbour, who you can just see in the middle distance there, I did her shed roof yesterday. I also replaced 2 of the boards on the side, because if you read my Twitter, you'll know I could actually put my hand right inside her shed without having to open the door. So as I was there, I had boards left from my shed, so I quickly replaced those. Didn't take very long. Unfortunately, it now means that she's got a green shed apart from those 2 boards, but I'm sure she's got some fence life or whatever it is she's used to treat those. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, she gave me the celeriac. Behind them some spring onions. Second sowing of spring onions, but they're not doing quite so well. That's fine though, I'm not too worried about that. And then cut and come again lettuce, which I've completely cut that row back once, so as you can see it's come on again. Excuse the sniffles, I think I'm getting a cold. Sweet corn, courgettes and pumpkins, sown and undersown, which has worked reasonably well, actually. It's interesting that the squirrels have only gone for the sweet corn cobs that are on the outside of the crop, where the courgettes haven't actually grown. I'm assuming because the courgettes are really scratchy and they don't like getting in amongst them. So I'm going to try that again next year, because it's meant I haven't had to net the sweet corn, which has been great. But absolutely awesome sweet corn, I have to say. Really, really tasty. Best way to have it is literally last job you do. Harvest the cobs, take them straight home for lunch, plunge them into boiling water and eat with a knob of butter. Awesome. Leeks, they're doing really well. Should have some good leeks this year by the looks of things. They haven't seemed to do what they very often do, which is die off at the tops, although I do notice there are a few little brown tips starting. If that happens, all you need to do is just get a pair of scissors and literally cut the tops off down to just below wherever the brown is, and they will grow on from there, and works every time. Brilliant. Complete kind of contradictory idea, but it definitely does work. So spuds, this is my main crop spuds. As you can see, I've taken the leaves off, but you can still see the mound there. This row I finished harvesting yesterday. Some reasonable size, not massive harvest, but not too bad. And these I will, over the next couple of weeks, harvest those. But these have been really tasty, and the slugs haven't got too bad, and they haven't got too much potato scab on, which is good. Picked the apples off the apple tree yesterday. I've left a couple of fallers on the ground for the wasps, mainly because they've already had a good go, so they might as well finish them off. And the fruit, rhubarb, raspberries. I'm planning to turn this whole bed over to fruit over the winter. Some weeding needs doing, basically because it's very difficult on this little bit on the end to really find anything that other than beans and things like that will grow, so we'll leave that. As I say, spuds going in here next year, and as you can see, already manured and ready, dug over. And then finally, well not finally, second to last, beetroot, a few more marigolds as well, parsnips, carrots, more beetroot. Were some swede in there, but they did really badly, and I don't know why. Something ate them, maggoty, wormy thing. Not quite sure what, but they did really, really badly. And then these are supposed to be cabbage, but they're a bit like, they grow like Brussels sprouts. So you end up with kind of small cabbages growing up the side of the stalks. I don't know, some kind of crossbreed. And then under these nets I've got kale, cauliflower and cabbage, which are all overwintering varieties, so they'll be ready next spring. But they should be really tasty. Water butts are full at the moment because we've had quite a bit of rain, and I have been using some of that just to water these in so that they start to put down roots, but don't wilt and die straight away. But yeah, I would have said overall this year not been a great year veg wise, mostly because of the hard winter, and then we had quite a dry spell, and it's been hard. I wouldn't have liked for this year to have been my first year, I have to say, because I think it would have put me off. But there you go. You've got to take the rough with the smooth, and you just carry on. And as I've always said, gardeners are a whingy moany lot. Anyway, I hope wherever you are, you're having a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.